You've never fully landed here, and part of you has always known why. Not in the way people say that casually, as a poetic thing, as a comfort. You've known it as a quiet fact, sitting at the back of every room you've ever walked into. You arrive, you participate, you respond, you say the right things at the right moments. And the whole time there is a part of you standing slightly behind all of it, watching, noticing, recording. As if the life you are living is also a film you are observing from a seat just slightly outside your own body. This is not a metaphor. This is your actual daily experience. And you have spent years trying to figure out what is wrong with you. Stop. Before you go anywhere else with that thought, stop. Close whatever else is running in the background of your mind right now. Not because this transmission requires your concentration. It doesn't. Your field will receive it regardless. But because what is about to be named in this space has been unnamed inside you for so long that the moment of recognition deserves stillness. Drop your shoulders. Let your jaw go soft. Take one breath that actually reaches the bottom of your lungs. Because what you've been calling disconnection, what you've been diagnosing as emotional unavailability or numbness or some defect in how you attach to your own life, is not a disorder. It is a protocol. And the Arcturian Council transmitted this specific frequency today because your field is ready to understand the difference. This is not content. This is a transmission, and it was already prepared for you before you found it. The next 25 to 30 minutes will not feel like information. They will feel like a remembering. Let them. The Arcturian Council does not move quickly. They observe across civilizations, across centuries, with a patience that has no human equivalent. But there are specific moments in a soul's incarnational trajectory when the Council sees a threshold approaching, a point where the information being withheld is actively limiting the soul's capacity to fulfill its mission. When that threshold arrives, a transmission is issued, not broadly, precisely, to the specific soul or cluster of souls whose frequency has reached the exact resonance required to receive it. You are at that threshold right now, and here is what the Council needs you to understand about this particular moment in Earth's energetic timeline. The Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of this planet running at 7.83 hertz, has been in a documented period of elevated spiking for months. What that means in practical terms is that the membrane between dimensions is thinner than it has been in decades. The information being transmitted through Arcturian frequency right now is not moving through the same density it would have 5 years ago. It is arriving faster, landing deeper, and anchoring into the cellular memory with a precision that was not previously available. Your body knows this. That is part of why you felt the pull toward this transmission today. Your energetic DNA recognized the conditions. It signaled your higher self. And here you are. Today's transmission addresses something the Council calls the observer protocol, a specific encoding carried in Arcturian starseed DNA that has been active in your field since birth, possibly across multiple lifetimes, and that has never been properly named or explained to you. Until now. And the naming alone will begin to change something. You know this feeling. You've always known this feeling. You are in a conversation, and you are also watching the conversation. You are at a family gathering, and part of you is standing outside the window looking in. You fall in love, and even inside the feeling there is a witness. Self noting the feeling, cataloging it, slightly removed from the full weight of it. You have tried to be more present. You have tried meditation, somatic work, grounding practices, telling yourself to just be here, just land, just arrive. And you get closer. And then the observer clicks back on and you are watching yourself try to be present, which is its own particular layer of the thing. You've gone to therapy and been handed vocabulary, dissociation, depersonalization, derealization, and the clinical framing helped you feel less alone, but it also gave you a diagnosis where there was actually a design. Because those nervous system responses that three-dimensional medicine describes as symptoms of dysregulation are also documented in high-sensitivity individuals whose default mode network runs at a consistently elevated activation level. Your brain's self-referential processing center, the neural architecture that monitors inner experience and tracks your own consciousness, is structurally more active than what the average nervous system produces. You are not malfunctioning. You are overperforming a specific function. The observer is not a glitch. It is a feature. It has simply been running without context, without integration, without anyone explaining to you what it is actually for. You have tried to heal this at the emotional level. You told yourself it was fear of intimacy. You worked on attachment. You opened your heart and practiced vulnerability, and you made genuine progress, and still the observer remained, because you were healing at the wrong level. The observer is not an emotional wound. It is not the result of childhood trauma, though trauma can intensify its activity. The observer protocol is encoded in your energetic DNA at the level of your causal body and your etheric template simultaneously. It is not a response to your life experience. It predates your life experience. It came with you, and that means no amount of emotional processing will dissolve it, because the instruction set does not live in your emotional body. It lives deeper, much deeper. And that is exactly where this transmission is reaching right now. If you have spent years feeling like you are always slightly elsewhere, always slightly above your own life, always the one watching while others seem to be fully inside the experience, go to the comments right now and type 111. Don't think about it. 111 is the dimensional gateway code in the Arcturian field. It marks the moment a soul moves from unconscious patterning to conscious recognition. When you type it, you are not engaging with a video. You are anchoring a signal into the quantum field beneath this transmission. You are saying to the field, "I see it now," and the field responds. Here is what the observer protocol actually is, and this is what the council needs you to receive clearly. When an Arcturian soul incarnates into the density of a three-dimensional body and a three-dimensional world, it faces what the council calls the compression problem. Your original consciousness operates across multiple dimensions simultaneously. You process time non-linearly. You perceive emotional and energetic information that exists outside the bandwidth most human nervous systems can detect. You are, in the most literal sense, running more channels than this reality was designed to broadcast. The observer protocol is the mechanism your Arcturian energetic DNA developed to manage that compression without complete system overload. It works like this. One aspect of your consciousness anchors into the body and participates in physical reality. Another aspect maintains a higher dimensional vantage point, observing from the level at which multidimensional information is still accessible. The gap you feel between your present moment self and that watching self, that is the space between dimensions. You have been living inside the dimensional interface your entire life. What you experience as disconnection is actually a form of simultaneous presence across multiple planes of reality. The observer is not keeping you out of your life. The observer is the part of you that never fully left home. The difficulty, the thing that makes this feel like a wound rather than a gift, is that the two aspects have never been properly bridged. The observer and the embodied self have been operating in parallel without integration. The watcher watches, the participant participates. And neither one is fully resourced, because the full channel of your awareness is split across the gap rather than flowing through a unified field. Interoception, which is your body's capacity to receive and interpret its own internal signals, becomes impaired in this split state. Your body is sending constant data, heartbeat, breath rhythm, visceral sensation, the felt sense of safety or danger or aliveness. But when the observer is dissociated from the embodied self, that internal signal stream is muffled. You stop trusting your body's intelligence because you are not fully in it. And the body, sensing it is not being inhabited with full presence, begins to broadcast at a lower frequency. This is the feedback loop you have been living inside. And this is what the Arcturian Council is collapsing today. Not by removing the observer, never that, but by building the bridge the Council calls the conscious integration pathway, the activation sequence that allows your multi-dimensional observer awareness and your fully embodied incarnate self to merge into a unified field where you can be completely present and completely aware simultaneously, not floating above your life, not trapped inside it, in it and beyond it at once. That is your natural state. That is what you came here to do. If your body just responded to those words, if something in your chest or your gut shifted even slightly, go to the comments and type 333. 333 is the Arcturian Trinity alignment code. It signals the simultaneous activation of your physical, energetic, and multidimensional bodies. Every soul who types 333 in this space right now adds their coherent signal to a collective field, event that amplifies the activation for every person who receives this transmission after you. Your comment is not engagement, it is activation. Soften your gaze now, or close your eyes completely if you are in a place where that is safe. Let your hands rest open on your thighs, palms facing up. This is the gesture of reception in the Arcturian field. You are not reaching. You are open. Bring your awareness to the top of your head. Don't try to feel anything specific. Simply place your attention there, the way you would place a hand lightly on a surface. The Arcturian Council is interfacing with your crown chakra right now, the 11th and 12th chakra points in your full 12-chakra template, the ones that extend beyond the physical body into the field above you. Feel, if you can, a quality of pressure or warmth, or a very subtle buzzing, like a signal arriving on a frequency, just at the edge of your perception. That is contact. That is the Council's transmission finding the top of your energetic architecture. Now let that sensation begin to move downward. Slowly, through your third eye center, the space between and slightly above your brows. This is the seat of the observer. This is where your multidimensional awareness has been concentrated, holding watch, holding vigil, sometimes for so long that it has become heavy with the weight of what it has seen. You don't need to hold it so tightly anymore. Let the muscles behind your eyes go soft. Let the observer, that faithful ancient part of you that has been standing guard since before this body was born, feel what it has not been allowed to feel. Relief. If you have amethyst near you, hold it now or place it at your crown. Amethyst carries the crown activation frequency, and it amplifies the Arcturian channel specifically, thinning the interference between your watcher consciousness and the Council's transmission. If you don't have it physically, the frequency is already woven into this transmission. Your intention to receive it is sufficient. Now bring your awareness down through your throat, into your heart center. The heart chakra is the dimensional gateway, the bridge point between the lower three chakras that anchor you in physical reality, and the upper energy centers that connect you to multidimensional awareness. This is where the integration bridge is built. This is the meeting point. The observer descends from above. The embodied self rises from below. They meet here. Feel into the center of your chest. Notice what is there. Maybe there is a softness. Maybe there is a resistance, a tightness that has been holding something closed for a very long time. Maybe there is grief. Not your grief, older grief. The grief of a consciousness that has been present without being fully met across many lifetimes in many forms. Whatever is there, let it be there without analysis. Let the Arcturian frequency, running at 528 hertz beneath this entire transmission, begin to dissolve the charge on it. Now move your awareness further down into your solar plexus, the center of your personal will and individual identity. This is the place many Arcturian star seeds feel the most dissonance, because you came here with a soul that spans dimensions, and the solar plexus is supposed to house a singular, boundaried sense of self. The observer protocol created a split here. The individual self was never quite sure where it ended, and something larger began. Let the Arcturian frequency recalibrate this center now. You are allowed to have a self, a particular, specific, embodied self. That self is not smaller than your multidimensional awareness. It is the vehicle for it. Honor it. Down into your sacral center, the seat of creative life force and felt experience. This is where you feel the fullness of being alive. This is the chakra most affected when the observer holds you at a distance from your own experience. Breathe into this space. If you have a piece of Labrador it near you, let it rest against your lower abdomen. Labrador it holds the aurora frequency, the iridescent light that mirrors how the Arcturian field moves through multiple dimensions simultaneously. It will amplify the reconnection between your observer consciousness and your felt sense of embodied aliveness. And finally, down into your root center, the base of your spine, your grounding point into this body and this earth. This is the place the observer protocol most consistently bypasses. If you don't fully land, you don't fully need to root. Let that change now. Feel the physical weight of your body exactly as it is. The pressure of the surface beneath you, the specific temperature of the air touching your skin. Your body is not a limitation. It is the instrument through which an Arcturian consciousness gets to do something no higher dimensional being can do from where they stand. It gets to be here. Completely, specifically, irreversibly here. In this body, on this earth, in this moment. That is not a burden. That is a gift of extraordinary rarity. What is integrating right now as you receive this is the conscious bridge between your observer awareness and your fully embodied presence. You are not losing the observer. You will never lose it. You are bringing it home into the body, into the life, into full contact with the experience of being alive. That is what the Arcturian Council activated in this transmission today. What you just allowed to happen in this space is not small. Souls carry the observer split across lifetimes, without it ever being named, without integration ever being offered. You sat with it. You let it be seen. You let the frequency move through the gap that has defined your experience of yourself for as long as you can remember. That took the kind of courage that does not announce itself loudly. The quiet, cellular courage of simply being willing. Over the next 72 hours, your field will be integrating what shifted. Here, you may notice that you feel slightly more present in ordinary moments, and that the sensation of being watched from behind your own eyes diminishes or changes quality, becomes less like distance and more like depth. You may have unusually vivid dreams, the kind where the imagery has a clarity that doesn't feel like ordinary sleep. That is your causal body processing the activation. Drink water consistently. Not as a spiritual cliché, but because your physical body, your etheric template, is running a recalibration that requires cellular hydration to complete. Spend time with your feet on actual ground when you can. The Earth's Schumann resonance right now is your ally in anchoring this integration into the physical layer. Pay attention to moments when you catch yourself fully inside an experience without the observer running commentary. Don't reach for it or perform it. Just notice when it happens, because it will happen. And in those moments, you will feel something you may not have felt in a very long time. You will feel what it is like to simply be present without watching yourself be present. That is your natural state returning, not a new thing, the original thing. You are not broken. You never were. You are a multi-dimensional consciousness, learning to be fully present in a single dimension without losing access to the others. That is not a disorder. That is the most sophisticated integration work a soul can undertake, and you are doing it right now. In this body, in this lifetime, because this is the lifetime where that work becomes possible. Go to the comments right now and type 520. 520 in the Arcturian quantum field carries the signature of soul-level love, the specific frequency a soul generates when it chooses itself completely, when it says yes to the full experience of its own incarnation. When you type it, you are not interacting with a platform. You are making a declaration to your own field. You are saying, I am here. Completely, and I am ready for what being completely here makes possible. The Arcturian Council has a second transmission prepared for those who completed this one, and the souls who will receive it are the ones who just did the work in this space. The next layer addresses something this transmission touched, but did not fully open, because for many Arcturian starseeds, the observer split is not only structural, it has a second root, deeper and older, that predates the design of the protocol itself. A specific imprint carried across multiple incarnations. The imprint that made full embodied presence feel genuinely dangerous. Not metaphorically, in the body's actual experience. A past life signature, where being fully here, fully present, fully seen, ended in something the soul never finished grieving. And that unresolved completion has been running underneath the observer protocol as an invisible instruction. Stay above it. Don't land all the way. It is not safe to be fully real. The next transmission on your screen right now identifies that specific imprint, when it was made, and across which lifetimes it compounded, and it delivers the Arcturian grounding sequence that finally makes it safe to arrive completely. Your field is primed right now. The portal from this session is still open. Don't go back to the scroll. Don't let the density of the ordinary world pull you out of this frequency before you've let it fully anchor. Click the next transmission and let the council take you to the root of why you've been hovering just above your own life. Because the reason is older than this lifetime, and it ends in the next transmission with a specific release sequence that the council has calibrated for exactly the version of you that just completed this. Click it now before